He was an ideal and total package to me. By the fall of 11th grade, we were inseparable. For me, this was important because I never had that super close childhood guy best friend to always pal around with. So with our friendship, it was amazing because I would see him every day, we would catch up and whatnot. And then even at home, when I come home from school, sometimes we spend hours talking about nothing on the phone. And if not, we'd spend a whole bunch of time just texting each other until we fell asleep. Our bond became so tight that my day was not complete without some kind of contact with Ben. Some may consider this ridiculous, but we even reached a level of closeness where I'd bring him coffee in the morning. It was weird. But to explain, I often would make myself a thermos of light and sweet coffee with French vanilla creamer a few days out of the school week. Ben loved my coffee and couldn't get enough. Wait. Because of that, I would often get a text in the morning asking if I was making some. But even if I wasn't, I would lie to him and say yes, and I would bring that cup of coffee right into school, even if I didn't have one for myself. And I'll never forget the time that I came speeding into first period class. I'm just gliding in there because I'm running late. And I come in there and I set down his coffee, a container of sugar, a spoon, and some napkins. And I told him to sweeten it himself because I was running behind this morning. What I did not realize at that time was how such an act could be perceived by other people. To me, Ben was just my best friend, and who I cared about and I would do anything for. I didn't give a shit about the kids who saw me drop his coffee. Honestly, they were non-factors completely off my radar. Yet, in the hindsight afforded to me by sexual evolution only achieved in college, I was permitted to analyze the situation as an expression of my love. See, with Ben, I would do anything and everything to make him happy without thought. When he was sad, all I wanted to do was be there and take his pain away. For example, if he was having a rough day, I'd come and find him, even if I had to take a bathroom break from class and then jackass all the way across the school building just to go and deal with his emo shit. Because quite frankly, when he was in pain, I was in pain. At one point, I even admitted to Ben, during a time when he was going through an emotional situation with his family and a girl that he liked, that I loved and would do anything to take care of him. The caveat of this, mind you, is the fact that to my conscious self at that time, this love was and could only be expressed platonically, and that's how I posed it and phrased it to him. Whenever a thought of greater desire for Ben popped into my mind, I instantly dismissed it. I was not gay, nor was I in an environment both physically and mentally to permit queer thought. However, the most jarring and destabilizing of my anti-queer mindset came about during the February of my junior year. It was the peak of our friendship, and it was during a telephone conversation we were having after getting home from school early due to a snow day. I had some VH1 music videos playing in the background as we chatted and bullshitted, and we're like just so happy to be out of fucking school. And although I can't recall what we discussed, I do specifically remember what song was playing as I looked out that window and saw the snowfall and listened to his voice on the phone. It was Halo by Beyonce. And it described our friendship to the most frightening degree. You see, I had many walls and barriers, or as my husband now, Drake, would say, trust issues, due to various negative experiences with family members and old friends. I truly had a hard time letting people in. Yet with Ben, those walls fell so easily. She really sang it to me. Instantaneously, I attached that song to Ben. He was my halo, and to be in his radiant light warmed me in a way that although I felt and was enraptured by it, I could not acknowledge it for myself. I could not accept it to myself. Needless to say that as much as that song nearly pushed me beyond my straight conception of desire, I could not analyze such a situation until I came here to Brandeis. It was here that I evolved into a queer being, and it was here that I could reflect and honestly say to myself that, Dylan, you were head over heels in love with a guy. As I developed my sexuality in a free space, I was able to just reminisce upon his incredibly smooth hands that felt like a newborn skin. his soft hair, the smell of that cologne he always wore, that one goddamn scent, and the cuteness he exuded whenever he wore a flannel button-down shirt in a pattern that perhaps many other people could honestly not pull off. Although by that point in college, when I was reminiscing, my friendship with Ben had long since run its course. And our song shifted from Beyonce's Halo to her rendition of Resentment, for those of you who have heard. I still remember those intense feelings that I had for him. What I learned through my friendship with Ben was priceless. I discovered a capacity to let in, to love, and to care for another human being which I never achieved before. I learned that when you love someone, you put them first without even a thought. The generosity and time you extend to them is beyond second nature. It is first nature, let me tell you. It was a love so fierce and so passionate that I always yearned to be near him and I strove to protect him. But what is the scariest thing is that I learned all of this, but did not know, could not know it at that time, could not accept it at that time. Understanding did not come until much later when my sexuality evolved into a queer gay one. If you told me that at 17 I would fall in love, I'd probably laugh in your damn face. If you told me it'd be with a man, I'd defensively reply by saying, fuck you, I'm not gay. Which I truthfully was not at that time. But my experience with Ben certainly did nothing to stabilize my straight identity, let me tell you that. What's most important of this story, however, is that I learned that it is possible for a man to truly and deeply love another man. And more importantly, that it can happen without the most active and trivial pursuit. It was natural. Whether or not it was an unrequited love with Ben, I did gain the tools to love from him. Although Ben was my undoing, he helped me to become the strong, nurturing, and passionate young man that I am today. Now I know that the next time I run into a room with a cup of coffee, a container of sugar, a spoon, and some napkins, with my eyes set and focused specifically on one man, completely unaware of the people around me, what that truly means and truly states about our relationship, and how it is a first nature expression of that passionate and caring love. And this is my definition of what a man is, one who can have a fearless acceptance and ability to love. Thank you.